up. Anybody who's ever watched a building being demolished on purpose knows that if you're going to do this, you have to get at the under-infrastructure of a building and bring it down.
The way the structure is collapsing, this was the result of something that was planned. It's not accidental that the first tower just happened to collapse and then the second tower just happened to collapse in exactly the same way. How they accomplished this, we don't know.
The building collapsed to dust. You don't find a desk. You don't find a chair. You don't find a telephone, a computer. The biggest piece of a telephone I found was half of the keypad, and it was about this big.
What happened to the concrete? The concrete was pulverized from river to river. There was dust powder 2-3 inches thick. The concrete was just pulverized.
In addition to those pictures we've all seen too much on television before, when a building was deliberately destroyed by well-placed dynamite to knock it down.
It had detonated.
Yes, detonated.
They were planned to take down a building.
I heard a second explosion.
There was a heavy-duty explosion.
Then there was secondary explosions and then subsequent collapses.
The explosion blew and it knocked everybody over.
To me, it sounded like an explosion.
It sounded like gunfire. Bang, 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 bang. And then all of a sudden, 3 big explosions.
We heard a big explosion coming down.
And then the entire top of the building just blew up.
We saw some kind of explosion.
By the force of the explosion.
Big explosion. Blew us back into the 8th floor.
Then we get to the lobby. This is big explosion.
The lobby looked as though a bomb had exploded there.
A huge explosion now raining debris.
It's been a huge explosion.
Huge explosion that we all heard and felt. We just witnessed some kind of follow-up explosion. We heard a very loud explosion.
The secondary explosion at Tower 1 camp.
That is another bomb going off. He thinks that there were actually devices that were planted in the building. Planted in the building.
Conforme transcurrían los meses después de los ataques del 11 de septiembre, cada vez más norteamericanos se daban cuenta de las discrepancias entre los hechos y la explicación oficial. Al descubrir que la versión oficial no buscaba dar una explicación verídica de los atentados, sino crear un engaño, estos ciudadanos comenzaron a investigar por su cuenta, tratando de distinguir las verdaderas causas de lo sucedido aquel día, en medio de la telaraña de mentiras con que el gobierno rodeó esos trágicos hechos.
Down in a controlled demolition, right?
Well, I don't believe it. I've looked at the evidence,
you're
and
right,
the evidence is overwhelming.
All right, the evidence is overwhelming to you because you're
sure
a conspiracy nut, but
no,
you know,
actually,
all
of
that
you,
aside,
I ask your viewers to take a look at this evidence for themselves. They could. Morgan Reynolds, the former Bush administration official, says that the Bush administration blew the World Trade Center to kingdom come. That's a direct quote from a member of the Bush administration itself.
They blew the World Trade Center to kingdom come. The Jews were told to leave. Well, we've heard a lot of these sick, bizarre theories.
That's
and I don't believe any of them, but you're allowed to believe what you want, but that's not what's at hand here. The issue is whether or not you, with your bizarre theories, are the best.
I think you have the bizarre theory. You think it was 19 guys with box cutters led by a guy on dialysis in a cave in Afghanistan? That's ridiculous.
You as an extremist, and I don't think you're the most appropriate guy to teach that class. My guess
I don't think you're the most appropriate guy to be on the airwaves spewing your venom throughout this country. I think you guys should be taken off the airwaves because you are the guys who are...
We don't want to silence anybody. You teach and we'll do anything in Combs. Thank you, Professor. Coming up, we'll have a...
Joining us now from Madison is James Fetzer, a recent retired professor from the University of Minnesota Duluth who supports Barrett. You know, I'm getting a little tired of Barrett and Ward Churchill and other college professors who hate their country and who bring this hatred onto a campus full of impressionable students. Am I wrong to be offended and angry about that, sir?
Well, you are wrong, Bill, because you haven't studied the case. We've created an organization consisting of experts and scholars, pilots, aeronautical engineers, mechanical engineers, structural engineers, civil engineers, physicists. We've been examining what the government's been telling us, and frankly, Bill, it's a fantasy. We have hundreds of studies, we have documents, we have records.
Well, why can't you get on the front page of the New York Times?
Anyone, Bill, who has even looked at the collapse of Building 7 understands it came down by a controlled demolition. It wasn't care enough about our fellow citizens who died, Bill Riley, to find out why they died and how they died, which is more than the government has done.
You have disgraced those people by accusing the president of being a murderer.
Parece ser que esta mafia piensa que la mentira puede triunfar atacando y tratando de ridiculizar a los que no quieren ser engañados.